Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Money Podcast, your source for all things money. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today is a very special episode. I have Jorge Rabaso on the line, who is one of our very first published authors in our Money Matters series. He wrote a chapter in our very first book, which was Real Estate. It was the Money Matters Real Estate Edition, Volume 1, and been trying to get Jorge on the show for a long time here. Finally caught up with him. So, Jorge, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Adam. How you doing? Thank you very much for inviting me.
Oh, man, I'm doing great, and great to hear from you, and I'm excited to get into today's topic. So we're going to talk a little bit more about what business owners and families should be thinking about when it comes to protecting themselves and what to think about for insurance. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit more about what you're doing as an optimization specialist over at Rabaso Financial Protection. So tell us a little bit more about your company, please.
Yeah. What I'm doing basically is I sit in front of the people and see if they are making mistakes about their financial planning and about their assets and everything that they have. And I discovered that a lot of people don't know what is available for them. And I help them, to put things together. I work with another professionals, and we see, where is the best way they can go. Because most of the people, when they wake up in the morning, they're thinking how to make money. But they're losing money, and they put the money in this bucket. But they're losing money unknowingly and unnecessarily because they don't plan. A lot of people don't plan, and that's the main problem that most of the companies have.
Tell us a little bit more. I mean, I know your background, but for the listeners that aren't familiar with your work, tell us a little bit more about your background and how you got started in this work, because I think your process is a little bit different than most people.
Okay, yes. I started more than 20 years ago, and basically I started to help the Hispanic community at that time. And then, I was studying and I grow professionally. And, when you are doing these things, you cannot have the knowledge of the whole thing. So what I'm doing is I have partners that are other professionals, but they specialize in that profession. For instance, lawyers. So we can talk about bicycle agreement. We can talk about living trust. I partner with CPAs. I partner with financial people. So, it's a team that I'm working with in order to give the best advice for companies or individuals.
No, and that's what I like about your process is that team approach, because like you said, anybody, you can't know it all, you can't do it all. I mean, you need lawyers, you need CPAs, you need financial planners. I mean, you need a lot of different things to really provide the type of service and to provide real in-depth planning and assistance when it comes to protection. Let's talk a little bit more about some of the specifics. So let's get into let's talk a little bit more about what business owners should be thinking about specifically when it comes to protecting themselves.
Business owners have to be thinking about how to save taxes. That's very important. If people are paying more taxes than they should pay. Business owners have to be thinking about bicycle agreements if they have partners and they know each other how much it's going to cost if someone passes away. Business owners have to know about keyman insurance, and most of them doesn't know how it works. And basically, there is a way that they can, and pension plan. Pension plan is something that always will find mistakes. And the pension plan is very important because it's one of the best ways to save taxes as well. Along with the life insurance policy that that life insurance, if it is, it can be something where people can put money in the life insurance and take out that money without paying taxes. And the money grows without paying taxes. And this is something that people don't know yet. They don't know. And some accountants don't know about how life insurance works in this way.
Let's talk a little bit more about the idea of the protection side, because I know you and I have had this conversation in the past, and it's unbelievable sometimes. So you'll have, some, really high net worth individuals that are leaving these loopholes in their protection. And I mean things as simple as like car insurance. I mean, not picking the right kind there, or not understanding really what it is to have real protection. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so when with my partner that is in the property and casualty side, we take a look to policies. We take a look about umbrella policies, and you will be surprised. I found people that they have $10 million assets, and they are driving a car with $25,000 liability. and I found that. You see, they show me. Yeah. So basically, what we are doing is I sit in front of the people and say, okay, show me whatever you have. Show me all the policies that you have. Show me all the protections you have, like living trust, buy-sell agreement. And when I take a look at the whole thing, I found a lot of mistakes. And this kind of mistake sometimes is because they didn't check again. Maybe they did this 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Because to check the whole thing again, it is very important for them, but it's not urgent. So they can do this next month. They can do this next year. So the insurance is something that people start, but they don't take a look about it. Financial protection is something that people don't take a look. People grow economically, and suddenly they are out. They don't have the product that is at that moment available for them for two reasons. Because first, one reason because they make more money and they have now a lot of money. And the other reason is because the product changed, and they don't know it changed because they didn't have the time to take a look or talk with the financial protection or the insurance agent or whatever they have to talk with. So this is a big mistake. And we all know that, the things that are very important but not urgent, we don't do them. Okay, in the financial world, a lot of people do that because it's very important, not urgent. Let's keep talking about how I can make more money. And they're losing money because if things happen, they are not protected. They're not prepared.
No, I've seen it too, many times, and when I laugh, it's not because I think these people are like anybody's doing anything wrong or this or that. I laugh because think about how ridiculous this is if you really think about it. So you have $10 million in assets, or whatever the amount is in assets. If you have $1 million, whatever it is, and you're only covered for $25,000 in terms of your insurance. Like, come on, like you don't want to save that extra $100 or a couple $100. It's not worth it. Like you want to make sure you're protected, and that's where it's just like it's a shame because then when things do happen, sometimes that's when people find out, and then they're like, well, wait a minute, why wasn't I protected, or why did I have that versus something else? Like when they change it, and then it's too late,
And people are passed away without a living trust. And people with millions of dollars in assets, they don't do any estate planning. So the family discovered that they had $40 million, so they had to pay 40% of 20 million right in 9 months. And how they pay that? And a lot of people go from being very wealthy, the family, to go poor because they don't have the cash for that, and they didn't plan to. So basically, they don't plan to fail, but they fail to plan. And we know this, and we know all of us will know this.
Let's talk a little bit more about that. Let's go a little bit further. So the importance of estate planning, whether it be a living trust or otherwise. I mean, I know you work with some really good lawyers on this. Tell us a little bit more about estate planning and why that's important.
Well, it's important first because there are basically 3 documents. One is a living trust. The other one that is very important is also the power of attorney for the health and for the financial. Something happened to me. Who's going to take care of? Let's say I have an accident in the freeway. I'm not going to pass away, but I am in coma for 4 days. Who's going to decide about my health? The doctors are going to decide because I don't have this little paper I signed to my wife saying she can be or my son can be the one who's taking care of that part of my life where I cannot say to the doctor what it has to be done on me. The other one, the other document is the will. What do I want to do with everything that I have? I have to put it in writing. If I don't put things in writing when I'm going to pass away, what's going to happen is that nobody knows what I want. other thing that I found a lot of mistakes is when I see the policy, I see basically that the beneficiaries are not correct. I see sometimes that the beneficiaries, their sons, when you know that the son and daughters are 4 or 5 years old, they will not receive the money until they're 18. So the living trust, you can fix all of these things. But yes, it has to be written when I want. About companies. Well, about companies, some people know that if one of the partners pass away, the family of the partner is going to be the partner next Monday. And it's not about money here. It's about decisions. So basically, the family of my partner is going to come to my partner's office and going to say to me what it has to be done because they are part of the relationship, part of the company. And there's no way I can say no because this is California law. So if I have a buy-sell agreement that says, if something happened to one of us, I'm going to pay to the other family the money that we thought it was going to be paid. So I don't have the legal problem at that time, and I don't have to negotiate with my partner's family how much it is or who's going to be the owner. I'm going to be the owner and keep the whole thing, and you're not going to pay to the family which we thought it was going to be the fair way. So there's a lot of things that people have to think, and they don't do it. They don't think. When I'm talking about a lot, I'm talking about 80% maybe is not done this. Only 20% of the people that that I sit with have done the right thing. And once again, I'm doing this through other professionals. I mean, this is the way to synergize because everyone knows how to do their own thing.
And the thing is, and you and I talk about this kind of often, is that once it's done, it's done. Like the bulk of the work is in the beginning, but once all of that's done, then you only have to review it in the future, and you don't necessarily have to make big changes unless something big happens. But once it's done, and that's the key. So if you're listening to this right now and you've been putting it off, and you're thinking, it's important, but like you said, Jorge, not urgent. Like you can just keep putting it off. This is not one of those things you want to put off. Like you don't want all these things that Jorge said. I mean, in his 20 plus years of experience in this, and in mine, well, I've been in media now for going on 4 years, but before that, I had over a decade, almost 14 years or so of being many of those years as a financial advisor. I mean, Jorge and I have seen this happen over and over again. Families and businesses not being protected because, again, important but not urgent. So if you're listening to this right now, let's move it up into that urgent category. Let's make sure that we get some of these things done that we've been talking about. And speaking of that, Jorge, so if somebody's listening to this and they want to learn more about what you do or about Rabaso Financial Protection, I mean, what's the best way for them to reach out and to learn more information?
Yes, about me, they can go to rabasofinancial.com. This is my website where all the information about my phone and emails are there. And go to rabasofinancial.com, and that's the best way to find me. And also there I have a lot of notes, and brochures and information, I mean, it's very complete, so you can learn a lot there also. But call me, and I'm very, very happy to help them, as I have been doing this for more than 20 years.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Jorge, great catching up with you and finally getting you on the show. And I appreciate you coming on and sharing all the great work that you're doing. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Money, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments on the video. Love to know what kinds of things you're working on and what kind of projects you have going on. And Jorge, thanks again for coming on the show.